So starting, okay, we're live. So this hangout on air is live. So welcome to the show. This is our practical pivot, Sean Flack 2.0 with Mike. This is our inaugural show. Welcome, Mike. Got
Welcome.
anything you want to say?
Yeah, just welcome. This, episode one.
Okay,
So
episode one. All right. So in today's topic, this is our inaugural episode. We're doing a little shakedown on the setup. We're gonna talk about at what point did we consciously give up on our dreams? Well, before we get into that topic, do you want to kind of Mike, go ahead and explain like what this show is going to be about and what to expect from it?
sure. Um, so yeah, basically we're going to discuss just how life happens. At what point did we just give up on our dreams or not pursue them as we would have if we were younger with less responsibility? Um, we're both at a place in our life now where it's much more at stake. So we'll discuss, what steps we need to do to continue to pursue our goals and how do we even get into a place where we just kind of let our goals and our dreams just fall behind. And well, yeah, trying to get out of that and just step our life up and get the life that we want.
Okay. The other thing I'd like to add to that is, to help each other and help others that may be in the same situation. Share our experience, and of course, ask our listeners to you guys some of your experience, share your experience with us, and together we can grow and help each other get out of that rut and get back on track and follow our dreams. Because as we get older, our time to do so gets shorter and shorter.
Yeah,
All
very
right.
true. Very true.
Okay. So you want to talk a little bit about yourself, Mike? Or you want me to begin?
No, sure, I'll start.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, for I guess the majority of my life, I've always had dreams and aspirations to do more. I wanted to be an inventor and do all these things and would tell people like, oh, I don't plan on working for anybody. I want my own business. I want to do this. But I never really took the steps. I'm guilty of being the guy who talks without the action behind it. And I'm just at a point in my life now where I'm tired of that and I want to make some changes. Hence the name Practical Pivot that Sean and I came up with for this podcast. Well, I won't call it a podcast, but for this show. And so yeah, we're just looking to make changes. And for myself, I've started slowly doing things to get in line. Man, I'm like getting a loss for words here.
It's
I'm
really hard to talk
slowly
about
doing
this stuff.
slow and doing things to get stuff lined up to make those changes happen. So basically, that's kind of where I'm at now, and this is even one of them. Whether this goes on to be something that works out for us, great. If not, it's still a first step. It's still a learning experience, something that we can both get from it.
Okay, cool. As for me, basically it's the same thing. In high school, I was big into theater, and I always told myself, "Oh, I want to be an actor or whatever, or be a director or something." And I had a kid early, so I had to put all that stuff on the back burner. And I met up with Mike, and we exchanged a bunch of ideas and thought about some stuff that may push us in the right direction again. And um, here we are. Life done passed me by. This was, I graduated in high school in '99, so it's been a very long time since my dream of becoming like a director, actor, or some type of um, creator. Um, and I've written some stuff on the side, and again, same thing. I say I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, and I'm also guilty of not taking those first steps. And working with Mike on this show, I'm hoping that at least gives me the experience and pushes me in the right direction for myself. And again, if this does take us further, together, then cool. And if not, then it's all about the experience. It's all about sharing each other's
Hmm.
journey and helping each other get where we want to go as far as our dreams. So that's the reason why I'm all in for this one. I really am excited to do this show with you, Mike.
Likewise, man. Likewise. So, yeah, I get it completely. We've talked about this in depth, just on a personal level. So I guess I'll start and just kind of ask you. You mentioned it. You wanted to be a director, and you in high school you saw your life kind of going one way, and then you said you had your first born at a young age. So for you, is that one of the things that um, started, I guess, the the dreams falling behind? You could say.
Yes, that's 100%. My dad was a single dad, and he took care of three kids out of. He was 52 when he had me, and I was the youngest out of the three. So it was important for me to be a good father.
Hmm.
So obviously, I had my son when I was like what, 22 or like 21, 22, or maybe 22, 23, whatever. And I was going to, I was going to community college at the time, trying to get some credits, and then my dream was going to film school, and that didn't happen. So
Hmm.
like once I had my son, all that had to go to the back burner, and ever since then, it's all been about the kids, the family, and obviously now I'm married and have two more kids, but I'm at a point in my life where I need to dial back in, do something that I want to do, and you know, is that somebody's car in the background?
What, on your end or mine? Because I don't
Hold
hear
on.
anything.
Oh wow, that is on my end. I
Oh,
apologize for that.
I heard that.
I'm like, what is that noise? So yeah, just yes, I 100%. I being a dad is very important to me. So for sure, that would definitely have been the conscious decision to put my dreams and what I wanted to do at the time when I was younger on the back burner because I had a responsibility to step up to.
All right, that makes sense though. I mean, life happens, right? And you put one dream on pause, and you're blessed with a healthy son. So it's your time now. So that's cool.
Right, right.
That's cool, man.
Now, what
Yeah.
about you? When did you quote unquote consciously give up on your dreams?
It's gonna sound crazy, but I think it's just more of I was just like kind of like a punk about it, man. I would I started a bunch of stuff. I would start something and then I just wouldn't finish it for whatever reason. I would either talk myself out of it, or maybe somebody would say something, or oh, maybe you should do this, and then I'm like, man, maybe I should do that.
Hmm.
Um, I didn't I didn't believe in myself enough to just like head down, focus, tunnel vision, and just go after it. So I would say consciously, I don't know if I would 100% say it was a conscious decision, but I just came to the realization that I wasn't really ready, and I didn't feel capable of doing the things that I wanted to do. I didn't necessarily feel smart enough, or I felt like I didn't have the knowledge in whatever area it was that I wanted to pursue something in. Because again, I wanted to be an inventor. I wanted to just kind of like put like a product developer, just put products out there, do different things. Um, you start looking up stuff and you start doing patent searches and all these other different things, and it can be easy to get discouraged. And not now I know, like, a lot of that stuff you don't even need a patent for. It's like first to market, just boom, just throw something out there, do something. you
Right.
know it could have been mittens, but, but I should have just did it and went with it.
Right, right, right.
So
Okay. You know what? It's really big of you to sit here and say that about yourself. Like, I mean, I don't want to insult you or nothing about it, but like you're like, I was a punk about it. and that takes a really big person to be like, oh, you know what, I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
But here
Right.
we are, right? I mean,
Yeah.
let's push each other to go in that direction. And hell, if you want to put out some mittens, I'll be your first purchase. You know what I'm saying? Put something with your logo on it or something and sell it.
Right. Right. I mean, it's crazy too, man, because you see people and I mean, a lot of the times it's not the smartest person. I would say most of the time, it's not the smartest person or anything like that. It's just the person who wanted it more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yep.
and I just didn't want it enough, man. But now I do. Now I do.
Amen to that. Okay, so we kind of talked a little bit about our background. Now, for us, we kind of said this show is going to be like that practical pivot point for us to start moving in the direction we want to go. So let's talk about getting back on track. Um, so besides the show, what other things do you think um, you or maybe somebody else in your situation? What advice would you have for somebody to get back on track?
Well, honestly, as cliche as it is, um, man, write down your goals. You know, whatever it is, and it's not even necessarily, and this is just my opinion, not even necessarily the overall goal, like the big goal or the end goal, I should say. It's okay, if I'm trying to get from point A to point B, what do I have to do? What little things do I have to do in order to get that end result? It's like maybe, all right, in 2 weeks, I'm going to accomplish this. By next month, I'm going to accomplish this. And then eventually by the end of the year, whatever it is that you wanted to do, you will have succeeded. And if not, you'll be a whole lot closer than you would have if you only focused on the end result and not just made, small little victories in between.
Okay, writing down the goals, one baby step at a time.
Exactly. A little Dave Ramsey there, huh? The
Right.
baby steps. But yeah, no, exactly, man. It is about that. It really is. I believe that.
Okay. So for me, um, I'm more about jumping 2 feet in. Like my advice
Mm,
is to just do it, do the
mm-hmm,
Nike thing. Um, and I think in our discussions that we had prior to the show, I truly believe jump first and build the wings on the way down.
yeah.
That's how I feel. And
Mm-hmm,
again, just conversations that we've had together offline, I think that's what's really going to help, push each other. Like I'm about, let's just do it. And you're
yeah.
like, well, no, let's plan it a little bit. And I'm like, no, 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 we're gonna do it. You're like, well, all right, let's put this on paper. Like, okay. So my advice is to take that first step, like jump.
Mm-hmm,
Um, and again, most of the time, and just like what you said, it's about who wants it more. Who's willing to take that first step. Is it the best step? Like, no, and just kind of bring a little bit of a little side story, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, look at MySpace. MySpace was the first to jump. I guess it was like Friendster first, and then MySpace hit, and then so MySpace was second, and then came Facebook, and then the MySpace dude was like, you know what, I wasn't first, I wasn't the best, but I made the move, and then he sold MySpace for however much money, and he walked away from the game. I mean, but
yeah.
was he the first? No. Was he the best? No. But he did it.
All
And
right.
he got what he wanted out of, which was the cheddar. So my whole thing is, you know, do it. Um, you know, uh, jump and build on the way down. And sometimes it takes people out of their comfort zone because they don't, feel comfortable doing that. But sometimes that's sink or swim, sink or swim. So either you're gonna swim or you're gonna drown trying. So
All right.
that'd be my advice as far as getting back on track.
Yeah, I definitely respect that about you, man. Because he's like, oh, Mike, I'm gonna do this, and then 4 days later, it's like I get text a link or something. It's like, check it out. I did this. I'm like, dang, But that's good, man. And hopefully us working together, it'll be some balance there too. You know what I mean? Like we'll help. balance each other out, or you'll push
Right.
me in places I'm uncomfortable and vice versa.
Right. And that's
Um,
what I'm definitely looking forward to. So
yeah, that's real. Yeah, that's real interesting though, man. That's because I almost, and this might be a terrible example, but I like it is easy to talk yourself out of stuff. It's so easy to talk yourself out of stuff, and you start researching stuff and looking into this, and then it becomes overwhelming, and it becomes more of a task than it is like, oh, this is something that I would love to do. Now you only just see the work part of it, and you don't really see how much fun it could be
right.
by just going and just doing it. You know?
Right. I mean,
Yeah,
I totally agree with that. Like, you think you're gonna do it for fun or it's gonna be fun, and you start putting in the legwork, and you don't realize, actors make, like Will Smith make 20 million a movie, but you don't know what he had to do to make that 20. So
hmm
you
hmm
start doing the research for it, and you're like, you know what, I'll pass. And again, that's when it goes back to who wanted it more. So for sure.
yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, so we just talked about balancing. We just talked about that. So let's like in the next subject is like balancing, or actually we changed it, right? It's managing risk. Now we're both older, both have more responsibilities. What is your thought about managing risk, or what is your advice about that? Being where we are in our life, and again, potentially somebody else being there. What kind of advice would you give somebody?
Well, in all 100% honesty, that would be an area that I would almost be looking for advice. Um,
Okay.
because that's something that I think is a work in progress for both of us. I
Hmm.
don't mean to speak for you, but
I agree that
I
for
think
sure.
we're both at a place in our life where that's something that we are trying to figure out as we go. So for myself, I'd say that trying to manage the risk is, for me now, is simply figuring out, okay, not necessarily what's more important, but where am I at? What can I compromise? What am I willing to compromise in order to, again, make those smaller steps to get that end goal? And obviously, we got kids, mortgage, etc. It's not like, oh, well, I'm going to quit tomorrow and I'm just going to do it. It's
Right.
not, that's not really an option. I mean, I guess it is, but it's not a very practical option for us.
Right.
We have to just take a more balanced approach about it and try to figure it out and say, well, I'm gonna allocate this amount of time every night or this amount of time every week to
Hmm.
this while still working and trying to further my career here as well.
Hmm. Um, as far as my take on or managing risk, I totally agree with you. We do have more responsibilities, and an example that I give is, part of that is okay. It is nighttime. I had to make sure I put the kids down okay, and anytime that I take away, anytime I put into this, I have to tell myself that's time I'm taking away from my family.
hmm
Um, So, and when I say managing risk, it's like, well, as adults, we don't have all the time in the world, and our bodies ain't okay. We could go to sleep at 4 in the morning and get up at 6. Like, we need a certain amount of rest and stuff like that. So we can't do what we used to do. And again, we have spouses and we have kids, and you gotta know that when you're spending time on something that you're passionate about, you are taking away from your obligation, or, your family, or whatever it is. So you have to know that, is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be worth the time that we're spending, knowing that we're taking it away from something else? And if it's family or the work or whatever it is, you have to always think about that in the back of your head. Like, okay, is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be something that's either number one, going to be fun and I like doing and I'm doing it just because, or am I doing it for, monetary gain, or am I doing it to get experience? And where's the gain? Is it really worth the investment? So, um, again, it is a work in progress. Totally agree with you on that. And yeah, I mean, that's, if anybody has any kind of advice they could give us that's maybe listening or watching the show, please leave, a comment. Hit us up on, obviously right now it's just YouTube, but as we branch out, oh, you know what? You can also find us on Twitter, but we'll have all that information at the end of the show. But we're definitely looking for some advice on that.
Yeah, kind of, you said something kind of interesting to me too, as far as taking away time from the family to do this or to do other things that you may want to pursue. And I agree with that to a certain extent. Like a part of me feels I'm doing it for them.
Okay.
So yeah, in one hand, it's like, well, I'm taking, let's say, 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours away that I could be spending with family. But on the flip side, I'm doing that to gain, a week or just the freedom to be able to come and go as I want and not necessarily be on a regular 9 to 5 schedule. 5 or 10 years from now, when my daughter's older and her time, she might demand even more of me. The
Mm-hmm.
whole, I got this function going on, I have this going on, I really want you to be there. And if I had that freedom to be there, then it's worth it for me. So again, that's looking at sort of like the end goal for myself. It's like, I want that freedom. I want the ability to be able to have my time available for my daughter when I get older and when she gets older.
Fair enough. I mean, I didn't even think about that. Like you're taking it away now, um, but in the long run, yeah, great point. Great point. Okay, now, well, like going right into kids, balancing time with work and just
Mm-hmm.
life and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I'll start off with this one. For me, I have a hard time with that. I have a hard time like when I set my sight on something, I really get tunnel vision, and so I'll go hard on one thing, and totally everything else will just go out the door. So I have a big, um, and I think going forward, one of my goals for this year coming up, and again for this show, is to take more time for me because I think I put a lot of things in front of what I want, and that's one of the reasons why I um I haven't pursued my dream sooner. And
Right.
now I feel like I'm in a rush. I need to rush to do this because as I get older, I feel my time is getting limited. Um, they say as you get older, you're gonna go to more funerals than you do weddings. And I know I ain't that old, but I guess maybe I got an old soul or something like that. And I don't balance that great. Like and that's kind of like what I was kind of hitting on when I was talking about managing risk. Because when I get into something, I know my wife and the time with my wife is gonna suffer because
Right.
we do this, I'm gonna be on my phone looking and oh, did it post right? Does it look right? Let me reformat. And my wife will look at me and like, look, man, you on your phone too much. Your
Mm-hmm.
kids are sitting right here. They looking at you like daddy on his phone. And obviously for me, that kind of goes into risk and managing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a problem with that, and I'm gonna definitely be looking, for some support with that, some advice with that. But I do want to definitely put some effort into myself
Right.
because I wanted to do this. I've been wanting to be, a creator, a producer, put on a show, something. Um, and I have ideas, but again, I get tunnel vision with it, and I don't balance things that well. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's definitely one of the things I want to take from doing the show. So,
Wow. Yeah. No. We live in a world now where it is people are on their phone or doing this, kids are right there, like you said, but definitely don't be too hard on yourself because you are doing it for a reason. There is purpose behind it, you know. And it is trying to balance that time, but you also have to make Sean healthy, and Sean has to be happy,
right.
in order to set that example for the kids. Um, kind of is a side note, but it is related. Like if I could have one dream fulfilled in life, it would be for my daughter to be successful enough to to not have to work for anybody ever in her life. Like she would be self sufficient. She could go out there. You could put her anywhere. She has an entrepreneurial spirit, and she could just hustle, man, and just get paid. And if she could grow up seeing me do that, and that be sort of the inspiration for her, hey, I would be happy. But at the same time, I would want to still spend time with her. I wouldn't want to like let 3, 4, 5 years go and I'm missing birthdays or I'm sitting right beside her, but it's not like I'm not even there. So I get that. It is a balancing act. You want to do what it is that you want to do. You need to be happy. You need to be healthy, but you also want to be there and be in the moment for your children and your family.
Yep.
So I get it, but you got to do you too, man.
And that's what this is about. So, all right. We kind of covered the topics we want to go over. Again, an initial, we actually have a lot of topics when it comes to um, when it comes to change. I think for the new year, that's what we want to work on is change. Change. We're not bad people by far. We just know we could do more. We know we
Mm-hmm.
could push ourselves harder. And what our show, what Mike had talked about earlier, practical pivot, was we want to pivot, but we want to make sure it's practical. So that's where the title of the show came from, and something that Mike coined up. And it makes sense. We're older, we have more responsibilities, but we want to change. We want more from ourselves, for our families, for ourselves as well. Because you did talk about like self health, and
Mm-hmm.
making sure yourself is good too, and so as far as things that are gonna be coming up with this show, again, this was just our initial inaugural showing. A little bit about who we are, why we're doing what we're doing. Um, did you want to talk about some of the topic, or did you want to mention some of the topics we'll be going over,
Um,
Mike? Just to
yeah,
kind of.
well, it'll vary. We'll leave it open. Not everything is going to be business oriented or financial. Um, it could be things such as eating better. Just things. Just it'll be a lot of things about or a lot of topics about situations or things in our life that at our age, at this stage of our life, that we want to change. We want to do it where it makes sense for us at a time it makes sense for us, and in a way not to compromise again family, friendship, things of that nature. So it'll be a lot of different topics, and we're still working on finalizing some of them, but they will be coming.
Cool, cool. We're doing our recording session. It is actually the week between Christmas and New Year's of 2019. So obviously, the New Year's coming up, Mike. Why don't you give me one of your? I don't like really calling them New Year's resolutions,
Hmm.
um, because I think resolutions are when you call it that, it's gonna fail. And I made a New Year's resolution last year that failed within the first 3 months. So I am not gonna call it a New Year's resolution. I'm just want to again a practical pivot. So why don't you share one of the practical pivots that you would like to work on coming up into the new year?
For me, it's just seeing, and this is pretty much across the board. It'll cover different things, but for me, it's simply just seeing things through.
Okay. Wow.
Period. I mean,
Okay.
whether it's I decide to eat healthier, whether I decide to uh, come up with a product, whatever it is that I do this year, this coming year, see it through. Period.
Damn, that's a hard act to follow, Mike.
No, well, no, I mean, I,
Damn.
I gave you a little backstory on how I am. So
Right.
it's if I expect to see change, I need to be the change. So I got to make things happen, man. I
Right.
got to do
Okay.
it.
Okay.
How
Cool.
about you?
Um. It is weight loss. Actually, it's the typical weight loss. Obviously, we do it on YouTube. You can see me. I'm a plus size model. So one of the resolution I made last year was to exercise more. And within, the first 3 months, I want to say I went from like, 5 days or 3 days or 2 days to just making an excuse. So, one of my practical pivots this year coming up is going to be weight loss. And we're actually going to revolve around eating right, changing the way I eat more than exercise. Again, being more conscious of what I put into my body than anything else. So, and we'll see how that goes, and I'm sure you'll on the show you'll keep tabs on me for that one. But so yeah, that's one of mine. So if you're listening, you're watching, leave a comment down below. What do you want to work on this year? What do maybe that'll be a topic that we might have had for episode 10, and since somebody brought it up, we want to bring it up to episode 3 or 4 or something like that. So leave a comment down below. Let us know what you guys want to talk about, and we'll go ahead and fit it into our schedule. Um, I don't got anything else, Mike. You got any like last minute things before we kind of go into our outro for our first show?
No, man. I mean, looking forward to the new year. I hope anybody listening is as well. And let's have some dialogue. I know we'll be, if you guys leave comments, we'll definitely try to get to them. And let's make some changes. Let's start pursuing goals and seeing them through. Let's make it happen.
All right, let's make it happen. Okay, so that's basically going to be it for this recording session today. I want to thank you guys for listening or watching, and like, subscribe, and share. Obviously, leave a comment. This is more of a dialogue type of show where we want to get feedback and share experiences and be able to apply what we learn from each other, and then of course from you guys, from the listener, from the follower. Um, Also, for me, you know, however you want to, I feel I need something like this. I need something where that'll keep me a little accountable. And they say, usually, what they say, you want to run fast, you run alone. But if you want to run far, you run together. So, if we want to go further, or at least, in our goals and different things we want to do, I figure it's easier to do it with a support group than it is to try to get it done by yourself. So, Mike, any last things?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything, man. I like that. Let's do it together and have some accountability. And again, going to this new year, knowing that this is it. It's no time like the present, and let's just do it.
Okay.
Get it
Okay,
done.
guys. Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter at Practical Pivot. Obviously, if you found us on YouTube or you found us through a link, it's practicalpivot at gmail.com. That'll link you up to our YouTube page. You can email us there. We'll be getting emails from there. Yeah. Always looking for that constructive criticism, because this is a fluid situation. It's a fluid show. We definitely got templates and topics. So if you don't got anything else, Mike, we'll see you guys anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Then we'll see you guys in the next recording, and thank you for listening.
All right. Peace.
Peace.